Well, guys, when we actually talk about Joe Biden, his approval rating is the worst of any occupier of the Oval Office, probably since they actually started keeping track of these numbers. Beijing Biden is sitting underwater. Nobody likes this man. Nobody supports him. But we're talking about really on a national stage, where you actually have probably an equal amount of Republicans and Democrats contributing to Joe Biden's horrible job approval rating. Okay? But when it comes to like local politics, let's say that you are a mayor in this case, like one Brandon Johnson of Chicago. This man is highly unpopular in his own city. And folks, we know that Chicago, man, is a one-party state. It is strictly Democrats. Folks, we're going to be talking about Brandon Johnson's job approval rating. And boy, this is astonishing, man, because there aren't too many Republicans in Chicago. This man is so far underwater, guys, that Joe Biden's approval rating actually looks fantastic compared to Brandon Johnson. Now, we've done many videos on Brandon Johnson. The crime is out of control in Chicago. This man speaks highly of criminals and criminal activity. When teenagers were actually downtown late at night, burn up cars and stuff, causing chaos, he said not to demonize those kids. Yes, this man really did support what those kids were doing. I mean, weekend after weekend after weekend, for the most part, man, you got 30 plus people shot every single weekend. Children getting killed every single weekend. It's pathetic. But the people in Chicago, you guys voted for all this. You guys voted for your own destruction. Lori Lightfoot was horrible, but yet you guys go out there and put in a Brandon Johnson, a far left progressive, which is really a regressive. And people are having buyer's remorse. Now, Chicago, you got an opportunity to actually vote for Trump to actually prove that you guys have changed your ways. Now, I'm kind of doubting that, but I know that there are definitely black people in Chicago that are going MAGA. But is it enough to actually change Cook County? Because if Cook County actually flips, Illinois, red state, man. A red state. Cook County is the problem. Now, when it comes to the four major cities in the U.S. by population, New York, L.A., Chicago, Houston, they all run by Democrats, and I believe that Brandon Johnson is by far the worst. Now, Houston has John Whitmire, who's a Democrat too, but he's not a far left lunatic like the other three in those other cities. Okay? But let's go ahead and get into this, guys. Brandon Johnson's approval rating is a disaster. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member. Remember, live stream every single Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you're watching on Rumble, click the join button to get access to the same thing. So here we go, guys. Look at this here. The rundown. Mayor Johnson's 57% disapproval rating. But here's the kicker, guys. Brandon Johnson right now is sitting at a 28% approval in his own city. 28%. He's about as far left as you can get. Okay? And his number of Democrats, for the most part, in Chicago, and only 28% of Chicagoans approve of this man. It says here that stunning disapproval rating comes as Mayor Brandon Johnson this week marked his first year in office. And it was a year of several major challenges, from the quote unquote migrant housing crisis to stubbornly high robberies. Well, Brandon Johnson wanted all this, man. He wanted all this, and you get what you vote for. The poll was conducted for Crane Chicago Business by the political consulting firm M3 Strategies, which surveyed more than 400 Chicago residents last month who are likely to vote in the general election. Digging into the numbers, the poll suggests Johnson is losing ground with a key group of voters who helped him win last year's election, the 18 to 30-year-old crowd. And you know what, guys? When it comes to young people, believe it or not, are actually gearing towards Trump. That is the same thing we're seeing on the national level. These young first-time voters, 18 to 30, Joe Biden has lost ground with them, and also Brandon Johnson the same. It says, quote, while 34% of 18 to 30-year-old voters say they strongly approve or somewhat approve of Johnson's track record, 27% somewhat disapprove and 33% strongly disapprove. Yeah, that's the same kind of problems that Joe Biden is facing. And by the way, let's look at this. Brandon Johnson sitting at 28% approval. Beijing Biden is at 38.7. Joe Biden is sitting pretty good compared to Brandon Johnson. And this is a complete disaster here in this poll here for Joe Biden. There's almost no way that Joe Biden can actually get quote unquote reelected with these kind of numbers. But hey, one year in office, man, look at this here. Chicago mayor touts his achievements, leading greatest freaking city in the world. And he's talking about identity politics in his administration. That's his achievement while crime is out of control. This is insane. Look here, it says Mayor Brandon Johnson penned an op-ed for the Chicago Sun-Times on Wednesday, touting his administration's accomplishments. Quote, Chicago needed treatment, not trauma, Johnson wrote, commemorating a full year since his inauguration in 2023. That treatment would come by investing in people and in systems of care. Johnson, who has spoken about race before, proclaimed that under his leadership, quote, we reopened the Department of Environment and have a cabinet that is 43% black and 60% women, demographics that are radically different from previous administrations. Wow. He got DEI, guys, and Chicago is a dumpster fire. But he was more focused on checking boxes. While he said that Chicago stands strong, he claimed, quote, that strength, however, has been tested, as 1 year ago, we inherited a migrant crisis entering a reckless and wicked phase. We have cleared women and children from sleeping on airport and police district floors, returned Chicago Park District facilities to communities, and cut our shelter population by 50%. He said, touting his response to the crisis. Quote, prior to taking office, we were told the city of Chicago cannot accept any more new arrivals. We responded by taking in more than 30,000. But guess what? Your constituents do not want them. They don't want them. But yet, you want more. Brandon Johnson actually said about a month ago that he actually wanted more. He said, hey, we can accept, I believe he said something like, could be wrong about the number. What did he say? 700,000 more or something like that? This man is crazy. This man is delusional right here. And this man is touting his accomplishments while your approval rating is at 28%. Yeah, this is what happened, guys, when you vote Democrat, especially the far progressives. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.